and welcome to the Tech Show. What we got coming up, Isaac?
What we got this week, we've got some cool new tech to actually show you in person on your screen, and we've got a proper in-depth look at the new downhill rig from Forbidden.
Okay, today we're going to go hard in on that Supernaught. You had a better name for it, didn't you?
Oh, it's not mine. I've seen them around, various other words that mean something monstrous. The Fearnaught, the Juggernaut, but the Supernaught is unique to them. It's pretty original, so no, we'll go with that.
Yeah, okay, well, so basically, Conor Fearon started racing for Forbidden in the Downhill World Cups. Almost 2 years ago, it was like early 2022. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And talk about underbiked, or was he? Because he went straight in with the Dreadnought. And then we started to see the prototype coming through, and it was for sure that they were going to drop a downhill rig. And sure enough, they've just dropped it this week. It is the Supernaught. What can you tell us?
What can you tell us? Well, it's 8-inch travel, 203 mil, which is
8 inches, old school.
Well, no, it's
203 millimeters for you.
Although, having looked at all of the winning bikes on the Downhill World Cup, like that 200 mils or 203 is still kind of thrown a little bit by a few outliers, but it is actually the most common thing at the moment. So, the key thing with this, obviously, is it's one of the few now really popular high pivot bikes, and it's even for high pivot bikes, I think, quite extreme in that regard. Like, we've seen the Trek Session go to that platform the last couple of years, but that's only got, I think, a chainstay growth of 25 mil through the travel. This is a lot more. It's 34 mil of that rearward travel of the rear axle, which I think, when it's fully compressed, means that the rear end is actually longer than the reach, which is pretty mad.
Pretty much on all sizes, so apparently. It is huge. So it has a rearward axle path that just continuously goes back and back and back until about the really tiny bit at the end where it starts going a little bit forward, and it's like,
by which time crazy. Your wheels are in different split sections of the track, and but it's cool to see that, because when you're talking about whether Conor was riding under bikes, and I guess it's something that, because of the suspension platform, it may be you have to rethink slightly the travel numbers, because we've seen them racing downhill on the Enduro bike, and then Rhys Werner, like Enduro rider, racing on the 130 Druid, which is like not an Enduro bike in our thinking
many
of it.
people say
but the
that
way
they
that
always
it handles,
feel
exactly.
bigger.
So the fact that they've had this, but then also still produce a 200 or 8-inch bike, it's really exciting to see what it's going to be like, actually.
Yeah. What I really appreciate is having their one-ride geometry, which, we see sizes where the front triangle is tailored to a size. Sometimes a lot of brands stick with the same rear triangle. Whether you agree with that or not is by the by. I do appreciate that these guys are not just changing chainstay sizes here, they're redesigning the whole back end triangle. So that's like a whole other mold for every single size, in order to make sure that every rider is central, regardless of what your size is. And I just think that's really sort of forward thinking, and I'd like to see more companies sort of doing that. And they've also gone hard in on the adjustability as well. So you can adjust the dropouts so that you can have 10 mil more or 10 mil less, or somewhere in the middle.
And that is that within each size of the stage as well, so it's almost infinite.
Basically,
wow, really cool.
And you can change these dropouts so that you can change from mixed wheel size, a 27.5 in the rear, to a 29. And I think this whole adjustability thing has been massive in downhill these days, isn't it? People are realising that riders are different, courses are different, and every bike needs to be almost tailored for specific.
Which is something that other companies talked about many years ago, and Sun and people, where they would design a frame for a course. They look at the world's venue, the world's venue that year, and think what is going to best suit that, and then build a bike back. And so being able to bring that degree of adjustability into production bikes is obviously very effective.
So do you think that's what's happening here? Do you think we're designing bikes that the general public need, or is it to win specific medals out on the course?
It's probably a bit of both, isn't it? It's a bit of both. I think the thing with chainstay sizing is really interesting, because it seems on the face of it really important. Obviously, surely you want your bikes to remain balanced across both ends and stuff per size. And then you think, well, how do I fit on the bike? And how does that actually translate? And then suddenly think, if they change the chainstay sizes, you're going to have to rethink the leverage ratios and the curves, and there's so much to design to change the size of a rear end. So the fact they're doing that is really, really cool.
Yeah, well, also just to put some more stats in here, so you've got 200mm direct brake mounts as standard across all of them. Obviously, it's mixed wheel or 29er, and you can get it in black or white only.
Almost Henry Ford.
And it's available for 5,500 Canadian dollars or 4,000 UK pounds for full carbon, let's be honest. With your idler, bash guards, and all of the gubbins with it. So I think it's a nice looking frame, and I want to know, what do you guys think of the Supernaught? Should it have been called the Dreadnought or
the Dreadnought? They've already done that one, I think.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh no, not the Dreadnought, the Juggernaut. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of this. Is this too much bike? Should we have just stuck with the Dreadnought on the World Cup course? Let us know down in the comments below.
Breaking news this week.
Good pun.
So B-Type came out last week, and you, Anna, I believe, did a video last Sunday feature on GMBN Tech talking about what Blake Sampson actually did with his fancy 150 kilo servos and all of that. And it's just, I mean, to see them just in the office first, and these amazing things, and then to see actually what they did with it on the bike, it's been really exciting.
Yeah, and it was quite impressive watching him ride these wireless brakes, by the way, because they are completely soulless. I had a go. I could not get the modulation for it. It's such a tiny movement. I was just like jolting stops every time. But do check that out after this, obviously. Okay, so we've got some new wheels from Giant. This is the TRA wheel set. So I've got one of them back here because Neil's actually done a video with these already. So do check that out on GMBN Tech. You should have seen it yesterday. But basically, this is a new profile that they've been experimenting with. There's a 30mm rim width, and also this sort of low profile. It's like 21mm sort of stack on the rim.
Yeah.
So the idea is that they've gone for comfort and compliance. They've actually gone for 28 spokes, which is a reasonably low count for a kind of an enduro wheel, but this is all intentional. They've done it so that there is intentional flex and compliance, and this flat dead rim depth, actually they've said that it'll reduce punctures by 44% based on their previous wheels. But having ridden wheels with sort of wide profile rims like that, I can confirm that they are really good for not getting pinch flats when you hit them hard.
So it's supposed to reduce the risk of punctures just because there's like less of a depth in there.
More that you won't get pinched on a sharp rim, I would say. So they're saying
just the wide.
You can run this without inserts and have just as good protection.
It's something we've seen, I think, on a few manufacturers this year. They've talked about having these big wide rim beads. So that's definitely something that's coming. The fact that they're able to combine it with still like a low weight and the lateral compliance, but you've got this thing that's so thick and flexible is cool.
Yeah, and so the hubs here as well, they've gone for some seriously durable hubs. We've got 72 tooth engagement, oversized pulls, oversized drive, bearing hubs or bearings on the drive side as well, all for durability's sake. And if you want to learn more about that, then do check out Neil's video that went out yesterday.
We talk about gearboxes a lot, and they seem to get love from you out there, the viewers. So let's think about one of the original kind of taker-uppers of this technology, and that's Zerode. So they've just refreshed and released a whole new lineup of bikes with the Pinion C-Line 12-speed gearboxes, and that's something that's nice and new and shiny for 2024.
Speaking of new and shiny, check this out. We said we had a show and tell.
Okay.
I want
to try and guess. I don't know what. I don't.
Go on then.
Is it?
Let me do this and see if this helps you.
Because I don't know what these are. There's nothing in there.
I know.
So it's... This isn't working,
This is a great game for TV. This is basically a portable bleed kit, where a lever bleed kit.
No way.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it?
That's like unreal.
So this is compatible with all SRAM and Shimano, and I believe Migura as well.
Okay.
Where you can screw it onto the lever.
Yeah.
And because it's a sealed unit, it obviously won't come out, but then you can take the lid off and then do a lever bleed out on the trail.
Okay.
And then if you need to. And this is all compatible. The seals are pretty robust. They're all compatible with mineral and dot fluid if you need it to be. But just don't mix them up because you don't want to do that. So they do actually do 2 different colours if you have 2 systems. Yeah. And then you can just basically put it in your backpack for your epic rides. and forget about it. So it's all CNC machined, and that is $24.99 from Epic Bleeds, and I really like it.
So last week I threw it to you guys to ask you which brand featured in the show had won an Olympic gold medal on a mountain bike, and the answer is actually Fulcrum wheels. So Julian Absalon was riding them in 2008 in Beijing when he took that title, but so far, none of you have got that right, so no pride points. No pride points
at all, but maybe you can gain some this week, because my question is a little simpler, but hopefully you'll get it. What is a high pivot bike? Be specific. Let us know down in the comments below for those pride points. Isaac, check this out. I've got an awesome, well, it's a top mod, but it's also a sort of a rewind all in one.
Yeah.
This is from Gene in Texas, USA. He's got a 1991 Kona Tai Hei. I absolutely love this bike.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a Kona in Thai. And basically, he found this frame and decided something needs to happen with it. And instead of making it a sort of a period correct bike, he's using it properly. He's built it up with SRAM Exo. He's made it a one-by drivetrain.
Yeah.
And basically, he takes it out with the kids. So he kind of, it's a nice little enjoyment.
It's a lovely looking bike.
It's a beautiful thing. And I'm sure, being Thai, you'll be passing it down to the kids soon enough. But if you've got any uploads you want to share with us, some top mods or some rewinds, or even a bike cave, then the uploader is linked down in the description below. So comments from you lovely people. Last week we were talking, or you were talking about the bike you want versus the bike you actually need, and we got loads of comments on this. From Top Choice, he says, I am always going to get the bike I want and turn it into the bike I need. That's a really good, that's a really good way of thinking about it, actually. Yeah. And then from Ibex Custom Bike says, I just saw the title and started watching, but I can tell you I always want more than I need.
Yeah.
Come on. I suppose we all do, yeah.
We've also got from the Fuel 89, I am new in the sport, and for a long time I made crazy plans to be able to afford some crazy race-winning enduro rig. I came to my senses, bought a modern geometry hardtail, and it arrived today, and I fell in love. Well, if that isn't a nice love story for Christmas, I don't know what is. I hope you enjoy your hardtail.
I mean, I love enduro bikes. I love hardtails. They're both lovable. So Floyd Blansden said, Richie Cunningham, this was a reply to someone who wanted a single pivot, said that one of the most respected mountain bike designers said that a good single pivot bike was all that 80% of us will ever need. I mean, I like them, but they're not amazing.
Depends on, there's so much,
We'll leave that for a topic another time. But for now, thank you for watching, and we will see you again next week.